James Alexander Herzog. I'm an computer information technology student at Metropolitan State University. I'm doing this video as part of my ICS 382 computer security class taught by Sue Fitzgerald. And before I get started, I'd like to mention that this video is just for educational purposes. So if I do or say anything, just make sure that you keep that in mind. I'm not liable for any damages that you may cause as a result of following this or doing on your own. Now, this video is going to be about pfBlockerNG, and what pfBlockerNG is it's a program that you install on your pfSense firewall. And if you don't know what that is, there's a video that I've done about that, which I would like to direct you to. But what pfBlockerNG does is it allows you to download malicious, well, not malicious, like if you're whitelisting lists of IP addresses, and then you can specify rules that you want to put in place with those addresses. So say you want to block like IPs from a certain country or area, you can actually do that with pfBlockerNG. You can also just get lists of IPs that are malicious, so say ones that are known to be part of a botnet, one that are known to have like Tor relays or something. You can do that. So I'm gonna demonstrate how you install pfBlockerNG. Okay, we are back at the computer, and um, the first thing you want to do is log in, and then you want to go to System, and then you want to go to Package Manager. You want to click Available Packages, and then type pfBlockerNG. Search that. Now, here you have the option, if you want, you can go with the stable release, or you can go with the development release. This one, the development release, might have a little bit more features. However, and I mean, you can make the decision whether or not you want these. You can read the documentation. You can just simply click this and it'll show you the changelog of it. But I would recommend going just with the stable one. I mean, like the name suggests, it's going to be stable, or at least should be. And honestly, haven't seen much of a difference between the two. That's really noteworthy. So, you want to click install. You want to click confirm. Okay, it just finished installing. The next thing you want to do is go to the pfBlockerNG option under this firewall tab. You want to click enable and disable. I just always like to kind of look through these options. Click the save button. go to IPv4, click add. Let's create a new alias. So let's call this blacklist. Let's set this to be the emerging threats rule. Emerging threats. Click this add button to add more lists. And these lists, the lists that I add here will combine with this one, this top one here. So it removes duplicates and makes your rules really easy to read. So let's just do that here. And these headers, what they do is they're just here for your own information, so they help organize things. The next thing you want to do, and this is very important, is go to list action and select alias native. That will give us an alias that we can use. Otherwise, pfBlocker can actually just deny traffic itself. But for our purposes, we want to just block traffic for a certain rule. So that's why we're setting this alias native option. I always like to set this to once every hour too. Now that's just because where I live, we have really fast internet connections, so it's not really an issue to download once every hour. But if you have really big lists, like a bunch of these lists that are really big, or you possibly have a very bad internet connection, then you can set to like every 4 hours, every 6 hours, whatever you need. And honestly, every hour is kind of overkill, but I don't see any harm in doing that. Now the next thing you want to do is click save. And now you can see that we have our blacklist. So we're also going to make a whitelist just to kind of show that you can do this as well. Uptime Robot, this kind of is outside of the scope of this video, but Uptime Robot is a nice option if you're looking for a service to tell you if your machines are down. So if you have a web server and you want to get notified like text message or through the app, you can use these Uptime Robots to do that. And I should mention, Uptime Robot doesn't pay me to say this, but they are a very helpful company. So again, set a header label, set this to alias, once every hour, save. And now we want to go to update, click on run, and as you can see, it's downloaded these. So the next step is to show you the alias, but before I do that, I want to go to the dashboard and show you that there's a new widget that shows up here. And this is just kind of a nice feature to tell you like how many IPs are in your list. So that's what this count column is. Packets is the number of packets that have traversed the rule. So number of packets that have used this rule. Although I have found that this isn't always the most accurate, but that's okay. It also tells you if they've been updated, the last time they've been updated, which of course was just a couple minutes ago. And then this defines whether or not a rule actually uses this alias. And you'll notice that these aliases have pfB in front of them. That's just a placeholder to help you separate the pfBlocker aliases from any other aliases you may have. So now we want to go to aliases, which is in the firewall tab, and then go to URLs. Now you can see here that it loops back to itself, 127.0.0.1, specifically on port 80. Now, you won't be able to see this, but the way that pfBlockerNG actually works is it downloads the lists from the servers. That's obvious, we know that. And then what it does behind the scenes is it compiles a list of all the lists that you specified, and then it just serves it up on its own internal web server. And the reason why I say you won't be able to see this is because it only allows the firewall itself to access this website, this web server. So that's why you won't be able to see it. But that is how it works. It's quite simple and quite elegant in many ways. So the next thing you want to do, and I just did this to show you guys. Okay, the next thing you have to do is go to firewall and go to NAT. Now you can see I've already put a example web server here just to kind of show you guys. But you can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be a web server. So what you want to do is click Edit Rule. You want to click on Source. Now let's say, since this is a blacklist, let's just say that I want my web server to be able to be accessed from anyone other than the IPs in the blacklist. So the way that I'd do that is I'd go to single host or alias in the source. Make sure you're on the source tab, option, and then go ahead and type blacklist, and you'll notice it brings that up as you type. Make sure the port range, the source port range, is set to any, and then from there on out you just set the destination and everything just the way you would normally. Click Save, and then click Apply. Now if you mouse over this, you can see, look at the scroll bar. These are all the addresses that get blocked by our blacklist. And again, this gets updated once every hour in our case. Again, your mileage may be different, but think about this. Now the next step that you want to do is, say, for example, say you are using Uptime Robot, or you have a whitelist of services that you just want to allow no matter what. What you can do is you can go to your rules, you can go to add, and make sure you click at the top of the list, this button. Keep it at pass, keep it at IPv4, specify a protocol. I would say TCP UDP, just because that's going to be 99% of your traffic. Go to source, click source address, and then type your whitelist. I always like to pick this option, log packets, because then you know exactly what's going on. And click save. And then that's it. You can see all this traffic will be allowed on your network. So even if one of the IPs on this blacklist match one of the ones on your whitelist, because pfSense goes from the top down like many other firewalls, it will, if it gets matched here, it'll just allow the traffic. So that's always a nice option, and something you should be doing or consider is the order in which firewall rules are set. And again, you can drag to change order. So if I didn't want it to do that, if I wanted the blacklist to just, if an uptime robot somehow managed to get on the blacklist and I wanted to keep it like that so it would get blocked, I can drag these two around. So blacklist is on top, and then it'll automatically block any traffic. Okay, now that we've gotten our blacklist and whitelist configured, it's time to show you how to block specific countries or just limit access to specific countries. So, of course, as always, the first thing you want to do is go to pfBlockerNG, click on GeoIP. Now, because I live in North America, I'm going to pick the United States, for example. And I always pick both of these. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm pressing Control while I'm clicking. Like the other whitelists and blacklists, you want to set alias to native and enable logging, and then click Save. I always like to go to the Update tab now and just run another update just to make sure that everything goes out and gets everything, which we can see that does now. And now going back to the aliases, you can see that's got North America, specifically the United States, but doesn't actually say that for IPv4 and IPv6. So now if we go to NAT rules, we can go to, you can see that I've created this email server for an example. We can edit this rule, click on source again, and then go to single host, and then like the other time, you can specify a specific rule for just North America. And let's say if you wanted to just block a specific country, just in particular, then you could click this invert match button and it would do that. However, I'm just going to limit access to North America because, say for example, you've got a private email server and you don't plan on leaving the country at any point in time, then that's when you would use something like this. It just kind of limits the ability for you to get attacked. So then click Save, then Apply Changes again. And then there you go. Everything from North America will be allowed, and anything else will be blocked. So that's how you do that. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope this has been informative, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.